Hey there everyone, welcome to CryptoMars channel. In this video I will show you how to simulate and get your rewards of the supercharger in the crypto.com. You will have to put some information and you will get automatically your results of how much tokens you will get in this supercharger. And basically it works when you hold a certain amount in the supercharger, and depending on the amount that you have held and depending on how much time you have held this amount in the supercharger, you will get more or less rewards. I would like to show you three important things that you have to know before go to the Excel simulator, because I think that it is important. Here we have all the information about this event, as we can see. Okay, and here we have how it works. I'm not going to explain how it works with all these examples and all these formulas, because we have all this compressed in the simulator, so I think that it doesn't make sense. But there are three things that you must to know. The first thing that you must to know is that the supercharger takes a snapshot every single hour. This means that the supercharger will know how much of CRO you have every hour. So you can do the changes that you want between two snapshots. The second thing that you must know is your total liquidity. The total liquidity will determine how much is your participation in the supercharger, and according to this you will get a certain amount of the token they are doing the event. So the liquidity will be the amount of CRO you have in the supercharger times the time you have held this CRO. And the last thing you have to know is that you have to accept your rewards on time. This means that when the charging period ends, we will have a time where we will have to accept our rewards. If we do it later than this acceptance period, we will get less rewards. So make sure that you do it on time. Okay, so this is the Excel I made in order to help you to get the final rewards. Okay, so we have here the main data for the simulation, and here we have the table of the charging period, where we will have to put the amount of CRO we have in the supercharger. And finally here we have a dynamic picture that will show us what day we are modifying. We can see that we have three different colors. We have the yellow color that will have the data that will be the same since the beginning of the charging period until the end of the charging period. After that we have the green color that will be that data that will change their value along the charging period. So these two data will be the data that we have to modify or speculate. And finally we have the data in gray that will be the result. To fill all this information we have to go to the website of crypto.com exchange. In this case this is the event of Zilliqa, so I will have to put all the information about Zilliqa. As you can see, we have almost all the information we need. The crypto.com have a time where they fix the beginning of the charging period, but we have to change it to our time. In order to change this time, if you click here, you will have a link to change this time. Also, we can see that the event pool could not be the same in the crypto.com exchange and the crypto.com app. My advice is that if you charge in the supercharger in the crypto.com exchange, get the current pool size from the exchange. But if you charge the event pool from the application, which is my case, get the pool size from the application. Sometimes could be some differences. Just make sure if they are different or not. And finally, we will have the ZIL final value. This value will be the value of ZIL at the end of charging period. As we don't know this value, we will have to do some speculation. All we have to do is go to crypto.com exchange, and in the main page we have to search for the token, and here we have to do either a technical analysis of the market and get the final value of the token, or we can guess the final value of the token. Okay, so as you can see, at the end of the charging period is the same than I put in the Excel. According to the information we have put in this column, the Excel will create this table of here. In this table we can see every day of the charging period and the day before of the charging period, because maybe you already have some CRO into the supercharger before the charging period starts. We can see that each day will start from a certain date at this time to the next day at this time minus 1 hour. And this is because SuperCharger takes hourly snapshots of your amount of CRO, and also this is because a good work of the SuperCharger simulator. Here in these columns we have our pool accumulation. I can make two changes. My first change will be in this cell of here, and my second change will be in this cell of here. You have to remember that this is the amount of CRO I have in the supercharger. For instance, here I have this amount of CRO from the day 21, and the day 22 I have more amount of CRO. This means that I made a deposit, but in the same day I withdrew all the CRO I had in the supercharger, because I have here 0. Also I have the deposit or withdrawal time. This means that I made this change of here at this specific time, and I made this change of here at this specific time. And in order to help you to know in what day we are, we have this dynamic picture that will change depending on what day we are modifying. As you can see, the day 22 of the charging period will be from 19 January at 2 p.m. to 20 of January at 1 p.m. And here we have the modifications we have made in the supercharger. Okay, so this is in order to help you to understand what day we are modifying. Okay, and finally we have this column of here that will be our pool participation every day. Finally, we will have the participation pool that will be the addition of all this pool participation. We can see that my rewards for this participation are these two of here. This is my total reward, and this will be my daily reward. I accept my rewards before the reward period. In case you accept your reward after reward period, you will have to put here less days in order you to see that my rewards are exactly the same in the simulation than in the crypto.com application. We just have to go to the super menu. We go to SuperCharger, and here we can see that we have the event of Silica, and we are in the reward period. So we can see here that my calculated reward is 4.80, and my total rewards in the SuperCharger is 4.81, which we can say that is more or less the same. Maybe because in the simulation I take more decimals, but it's quite accurate. Okay, so Basically, when you open the SuperCharger simulator, you will find the Excel like this. So first thing we have to do is fill out all these columns of here with help of the SuperCharger web page. So in my case, I will do the simulation of the current SuperCharger event of NIR protocol, and all the information I have to put in the simulator is here. So we have filled out all the information we needed in this column here, and now I have to change the time of Crypto.com to my time. So in order to do this, I will have to click here, and here we can see the UTC converter. So here we just have to go to this tab of here and put your city or your country. In my case, I will put my country. We have to take a look in this GMT +1. Okay, so this means that my time will be 1 hour more than the time of Crypto.com. As the time of Crypto.com is 2 p.m., I will have to put here 15. Okay, so the event pool, as we saw it changes every time. So I will put this amount of here just to have a reference. And finally, I will have to speculate with the near final value. So I will have to go to the exchange and see the charts. We just have to go here. And here we have the charts. If you are an experienced trader, maybe you can do some analysis of the market and do some prediction of the near final value. But if you are not, you can guess. So yeah, more or less you could say that at the end of the charging period is 27th of February. Maybe if I want to guess, I will have to, maybe I put some value like 4.5. Remember that as much higher are these two values, less rewards you will get. Anyway, I have here some comments. The higher the event pool, the lower the final rewards, and will be the same for this. Okay, so if you want to speculate and being a conservative, you can put a higher values here. Okay, so as we could see before, the table have been created. Okay, and we just have to fill out this table using the Crypto.com app and the all or nothing strategy. Okay, so this is the main dashboard of SuperCharger. So as we need the total amount in the SuperCharger, we have to do the all or nothing strategy. This strategy consists on withdraw all you have in the SuperCharger and deposit this amount you have withdrew plus the amount you wanted to deposit. So I'm going to show you a few examples. For instance, here I start with this amount of CRO that I held until December 21, when I withdrew all this amount. But straight away I made a deposit of the amount I withdrew before plus the amount I want to deposit. I made this withdrawal at this time, 4:56 a.m. and this deposit at the same time. So as you remember, the SuperCharger takes snapshots every hour. So as I made this change straight away, the SuperCharger doesn't mind how many changes I made between these 2 hours. Okay, another example would be the next day. I held this amount of CRO until 23 December. I withdrew all this amount and I made a deposit of this amount of here plus the amount I wanted to deposit, and in the same way I made these two changes straight away. So in this way I know how much CRO I have in the supercharger. On this date I will have this amount, in this date I will have this amount, and the same for all the next ones. As you remember, we start the charging period on 28th January, so I have to search for 28th January. So here we can see that I have 29, which is the day after the beginning of the charging period, and I have 19 January, and here we can see that I withdrew all the CRO I had in the supercharger. So we can say that from 19 January to 29th of January I don't have any CRO in the supercharger. Okay, so I will have to put in the day 0 that I had 0 CRO in the supercharger. Okay, this is the first step, and now I have to check at what time I made the deposit on 29th January. Okay, we can see that I made the deposit at 2:43, and we will have to round the time until the next hour, because you have to remember that we start at 3 p.m. and we will have snapshots at 4 p.m., at 5 p.m. and so on. The day 1 will be from 28th of January at 3 p.m. to 29th of January at 2 p.m. because it's minus 1 hour. As we made the deposit at 2:43, if we round this number we have 3 p.m. Thus will go in the next cell because we start the day 2 on 29 January at 3 p.m. and here we put the number we have rounded. Okay, here we can see that all makes sense because we start this day at 3 p.m. and we made the deposit at this time. So the next one will be January 30, and I withdrawn all the amount of CRO that I had in the supercharger. And I made it at 12:41, so if we round it, we have 1 p.m. If we are watching this dynamic picture, we can see that the last moment we have to put another change is January 30 at 2 p.m. As we made the change at 1 p.m. of day 30, we can say that it goes in the same day as the last deposit. As we withdrawn all the amount of CRO we had, I have to put here my pool accumulation, and my pool accumulation is 0 at 1 p.m. This means that from this withdrawal I made, and afterwards I don't have any CRO in the supercharger. If we want to see another change, we have to go to February 15, and we can see that I made this deposit at 10:42 a.m. If we round it, we have 11 a.m. And okay, as I didn't made any change in the supercharger, I will have to copy this amount until the day we are. If I want to make another deposit, I am going to withdraw all the CRO I have in the supercharger, and I'm going to deposit the same amount plus a bit more. Okay, so we can see that the amount of CRO has increased, and here I have the new deposit. This deposit was made at 7:52 p.m. If we round it, we have 8 p.m. And now we just have to fill out, but it's not necessary, all these blank cells. Now we just have to change these two values in green as we want. These values will change every time, but it's our work to put a specific number and do the simulation. So finally, this will be my rewards with this pool accumulation and all this configuration. And here our work will be changing every time the event pool and the near final value change according our thoughts. As I have just one day to finish the charging period, I can finish the simulation. And for instance, the last day, I mean tomorrow, I will deposit an amount of CRO, so my pool accumulation will be 2000. And I made this change at, for instance, 5 p.m. and we can see that our rewards have changed, and also the dynamic picture, and even we can do other speculation and change these two values, but in my case I think that this is a realistic value for this simulation, and finally I would get this amount of reward. You can do here whatever you want and whatever you think is going to happen, so you just have to try and find out what can happen. In this blackboard I have some tips and good practices in order to do a good simulation. The first thing we have to take into account is that always we start a simulation, the first thing we have to do is complete the data in the first column, like the charging period dates, terms, time. The second thing we have to take into account is that when we want to fill out the amount in our pool, we have to put first the first amount and then the first time of this amount. If we want to do another change, we have to put the second amount and the second time we have made this change. If you type something wrong, don't worry, because the Excel will correct you automatically. The third thing to take into account is that you don't have to copy and paste the data. Do it manually as shown in the video. Number 4. The deposit time in the application will be rounded to the next time the snapshot being taken. This rounded time will be the time that we will have to put in the deposit or withdrawal time in the simulator. Remember that the supercharger takes a snapshot of our pool participation every hour. This means that we'll take a snapshot every hour starting from the value you put in the sell my time. So, for instance, if we have in the sell my time 2 p.m., we will have a snapshot at 3 p.m., at 4 p.m., and so. If we put in the my time cell 4:30 p.m., we will have snapshots at 5:30 p.m., at 6:30 p.m., and so. Number 6. If you want to deposit less than 100 CRO, which is the minimum deposit, with the all or nothing strategy, you will be able to do it, because you will withdraw and you will deposit more than 100 CRO. Number 7. Always you want to change the event pool, get it from the website, or even you can do a bit of speculation and put the amount you think. Number 8. Estimate the crypto final value, either doing an analysis or guessing with common sense. As I stated before, this will be our work, and depending on the crypto final value and the event pool, we will get one result or another. Okay, so until here the video of today. I hope that you like this tool I made for you in order to simulate the supercharger. Also give me your thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe if you like this content. Let me know in the comment section below if you like this kind of videos, and also if you have another suggestions, write it down in the comment section below as well. And if you don't have the Crypto.com app yet, don't forget to click in the link in the description of this video to get $25 for free. And that's all for today, and see you in the next video. Bye.